Hello everyone! For today's video, Nicole and I wanted to discuss a topic that has been on my mind a lot over the past year or so, but even more recently due to the fact that I got engaged. The topic concerns women in politics, and while some people may believe the answer is a simple yes or no, we actually believe that the answer is a bit more nuanced than that. We definitely think that some women are cut out for politics, although the question as to whether the majority of women are cut out for politics is obviously a bit trickier and mainly depends upon the women's personal life choices and their personal characters.
The wonderful Ann Coulter, for example. She's not only extremely effective, she's unrelenting and is a great fit for politics. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that she was always cut out for politics. Some people, through lots of experience, will mold themselves and adapt to fit their role more strongly, and perhaps this is what happened in her case. One issue is, at least in general, women tend to be more sensitive or more emotional than men, and this puts them at a higher risk of being negatively affected or at least dramatically changed by politics.
For example, the main issue that's concerned me over the course of my time in politics is that I've noticed it's actually drastically hardened me. And by this I mean that since I'm constantly being attacked, whether it's my reputation or threatened with physical violence, I constantly have to be in fight or flight mode. And obviously after a time this starts to take a toll. I've often been forced to bury my emotions and to forge a sort of armor for myself, and I think the same applies to most women in politics. And this is all well and good, of course, until situations come along when we need to be more emotional, to be in touch with our emotions, to show our feminine, vulnerable, and nurturing side. And after having buried these parts so deeply within myself, because I never really need to use them in politics, of course they become a lot more difficult to access. And this wouldn't necessarily be a problem unless me, as well as many other women, had future plans to become mothers, or possibly are at the current time already mothers.
As for me, I really only engaged in politics a few months. I remember in my mind, I made a mental note that as soon as Trump was elected after the inauguration, I would step away. And of course, I'll still participate. I'll make some videos with Brittany, but these aren't always political. A lot of times they're more cultural or focused on social issues. So the majority of my life is focused elsewhere. I guess the main reason I decided to step away from politics was I felt that I wasn't educated enough in politics to be able to provide a confident voice. I'm also very sensitive. I don't have the thick skin that's really needed to sort of navigate the political terrain. And I don't have a very strong ability to read people. I didn't feel confident in who to trust. And I felt that being actively engaged in politics would do more harm to me personally than good I could bring forth.
So yes, many women are in fact cut out for politics, but on the other hand, many women are not. This becomes very evident when you examine all the women in politics, both on the left and on the right, and you can see that many of them are greatly struggling. Even Ann Coulter tweeted back in 2017 saying, "We singles live empty lives of quiet desperation and will die alone." But these women choose to battle on for a variety of reasons. Some of them believe that their cause is noble and they want to fight for what they believe is a better world. And then of course you have those who are simply in it for the money and the fame.
Another question we wanted to touch upon in this video is if the role of motherhood is compatible with a role in politics. And in general, we would answer no to this question. Does that mean that a mother can't have a full-time career in politics? Absolutely not. But if we're going to be honest and examine the question if they're inherently compatible, probably not. While some women are absolute superheroes and have the ability to manage a full-time career in politics as well as motherhood, for the majority of women, this isn't really realistic, and it would make the role of raising a family 10 times harder, especially if you want to be there for your husband and your children.
On the other hand, if you have no intention of ever becoming a mother, a full-time career in politics is obviously much more realistic. Creating any kind of change through politics takes a lot of hard work, focus, time, and constant dedication. It's not something that you can just dabble in, at least it's not if you want to be effective. And this is why being a mother and having a full-time career in politics, if you choose this, you're obviously going to run into a few problems. First, as I already mentioned, the brutal world of politics significantly hardens women, and this makes it much more difficult for us to access our feminine and our nurturing side. And secondly, politics is extremely stressful. So if we're constantly stressed because we're consistently carrying out a role in politics, it's going to make it much more difficult for us to care for our husband, our children, and to care for our home, if it is also our intention to be a homemaker.
thirdly, having a consistent and popular role in politics, particularly for women on the right, could put your children's lives on public display in a potentially damaging way. Children, especially children when they're very young, require a basic level of privacy. They need to be sheltered and protected. And I think that they should have this choice whether or not they want their lives so publicly displayed and so much media attention. It's not exactly fair to make the choice for them.
Fourth, a consistent role in politics will oftentimes keep us away from our loved ones, which could potentially strain our relationships with our husbands, our children, our family, and friends. I can't even imagine saying to my husband, "Bye, sweetie, I'm off to cover a riot. I'll be gone the whole weekend. Please watch the kids." No, what an absolute nightmare.
And lastly, since the political climate is so heated and so unstable right now, particularly for women on the right, this could put their children in harm's way. It could paint a target on them, so to speak. Once again, the choice is up to each individual woman. Some women are capable of being politically involved while being childless, and other, even stronger women can have this political career while also being mothers.
One final point we wanted to highlight in this video is that we're not exactly living in normal times. In fact, we're living in extremely dangerous and extremely unstable times where the entire fate of the West is at stake. Ignoring the threats is not going to make them disappear. On the contrary, it's going to accelerate our doom. So for many of us, myself included, we view the choice of having a role in politics as more of a duty rather than a desire. While I'm able to have a full-time career in politics at the moment, obviously, as soon as I become a mother, I'm going to have to make a choice. And obviously, I have already made this choice. I choose the marriage and the family path. This doesn't mean, though, that when I become a mother, I'm going to leave this fight fully. Of course not. You could say in a way that I'll still be fighting the battle, but I'll have changed my position on the battlefield.
For example, helping to fight the culture war by writing books as opposed to on-the-ground reporting, or every once in a while giving a speech or making a YouTube video. But of course, this wouldn't be consistent or full-time because while right now we have responsibility only for ourselves, in the future we'll have responsibility for children.
We really are very curious to know your personal thoughts on the matter, so do please leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.